Welcome everybody. We are gonna have a live streaming today about the workshop that's gonna happen next week on Saturday about Qigong and sexual energy mastery. Jared and me have been talking and been in contact for quite some time about the idea to combine both of those traditions, the Qigong and the Taoist sexual practices. And we're going to show you some ideas we have how this combination can work. Questions that we're just going to talk about now, Jared and me, that are often frequently asked. Jared, from your experience with Qigong, what is a simple shift people can make that can change their experience or connection to this type of exercises?
It's an interesting area of practice, Qigong, because it's this ancient 3,000-year-old practice that's talking about energy. And I think for myself and a lot of Western thinkers, this idea that you've got a life force energy is strange. It's foreign. It seems woo-woo and unrealistic. And I think what really clicked for me, because I came into Qigong looking for ways to de-stress. I actually had studied some books and I've been practicing meditation for years. I'd read some books on somatic practices that really helped me realize that we have this mind-body connection and that different types of exercise helps us to feel healthy. Not all exercise has to be lifting weights and running and cardio. That's fantastic. But there is room for exercises that help us switch out of that fight or flight mode or that parasympathetic nervous system or that sympathetic nervous system into the rest and recovery mode. Right, where we feel more safe, where our body begins to heal, where we can sleep more deeply. So that's what brought me into Qigong. And I think one of the big shifts I've seen is that really it's doing the practice that makes it the difference. I've gone into office buildings, for example, and I teach people just 10 to 30 minutes of Qigong. And how the room shifts from the beginning to the end is really quite fantastic. People are holding a lot of excess stress in their bodies they don't even know. So I think one of the biggest clicks is that the best way to approach Qigong is to find a simple beginner routine for free on YouTube or a local instructor and just to try it. When you tune into your own body, you create your own relationship with your own energy, and that's what opens up so many doors into to tranquility, inner peace and joy, and then also the sexual energy work we'll be doing in this workshop.
Yeah, I think also that for a lot of people, that first step is sometimes not so easy. There's a kind of a misunderstanding in general, I think, about this type of practice. Energy practice. I mean, if it's the cold type, like the Qigong, or if it's the warm type, like the Taoist sexual exercises. Do you also see that misunderstanding?
Yeah, it makes sense to me that there's a misunderstanding because we're not taught, in school, we really aren't taught about it's just beginning, but basic things like mindfulness, what emotions are, how to feel your own sensations, how to do self-inquiry. It's a bit deeper than what we'll be going into the workshop, but really tuning into your own sensations is how these practices were cultivated. The ancient Taoist masters who did this practice, they weren't just reading books and teaching people to memorize ideas. When they taught each other these practices, they actually had to do the exercises. They had to explore their own energy system. And that's the disconnect, is that we really need direct experience. And I think that's the value of these workshops, is that, look, for thousands of years, these things were secret. You couldn't access them. And here we are today putting on a workshop for really basically nothing, where you can begin to tap into an energetic practice that can change your whole life. So I think it's fantastic.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that specifically also related to the sexual part, there is often this idea that when it comes to sex, when the time comes, we should just immediately know what to do. It's a kind of an assumption that is there in our culture. I mean, in a lot of other fields, if I'm a musician, for example, and I'm coming to performance, it's very natural that I would practice before and then go to the performance. But somehow when it comes to sex, it's as if we're supposed to know. And yeah, and my experience is that specifically that solo practice can be such a source of of stability, of confidence, and reconditioning of some of the patterns we developed over the years. So if I want to last longer, and my sex solo is usually 3 minutes, there's a good chance that when I'm having this partner sex, it's also going to be 3 minutes. So by practicing, actually, we can create new patterns. And if we can do that in a different way, if we can cultivate that, then there's a good chance that what follows after is a different experience also with a partner. Yeah.
Let me know how we're doing for time.
I think we're quite good. Maybe if you have another final question, we can take that.
Cool. I kind of wanted to just, so we have it here, just to readdress what the workshop is, who it's for, and what it solves. So if you've been watching us throughout this, or if you're just tuning in at the end here, this workshop is for men who are looking to boost their confidence in their pleasure, in their intimate practice, in their intimacy, whether they're doing solo sexual.
I just call it solo sex.
Solo sex.
Yeah.
Doing solo sex or with partners. So the goal here, what me and Moshe really want to bring together was, Moshe teaches the Taoist sexual energy practice, cosmic orbit, a lot of great stuff around shame. We're going to dive into all this stuff in this workshop to give you a full sense that you really can do these practices, connect to your sexual energy without shame. Because like Moshe just said, this idea that you can't cultivate or practice this is a myth of our culture, which isn't true, right? Your body, every aspect of yourself can be cultivated and should be, because that's how we get the juice out of life. But we want to combine that with these moving Qigong practices, because we thought that when we combine these things together into one solid workshop, it's going to give you all the tools that you need to really cultivate your life force energy for daily life, so you can have less stress and more energy, but also how that will help you in your sexual energy practices to have more vitality, more pleasure, and more confidence. So we invite you to this workshop. It's coming up next Saturday, and maybe we just want to restate what time it is as well.
It's going to be at 5 o'clock time in Berlin, and there is an event page that you can check all the details and also get a ticket. Would be lovely to have you there. Yeah, we wish everybody a beautiful Saturday, and if you've been watching us till now, thank you for the attention, and stay connected to your body, to your energy. Peace.